What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to do a very quick, I'm going to try my best to have this not be longer than 15 minutes. Mock draft. Most mock drafts go like 45 minutes. I want to just keep it concise because I've already had to hit re-record like 5 times. I'm over it. But you know what I'm not over? That epic regular season finale. Close out week 18. You obviously had the Jags that started chaos. You had the Steelers, Big Ben's final run, beating hated rival Baltimore Ravens to have an opportunity to make the playoffs. And then the season finale, Chargers and Raiders, all-time classic. Everything was on the line. Winner goes to the playoffs, loser goes home. They could tie and both make it. Steelers would be on the outside looking in. Went to OT. They could have took a knee. There was a timeout. Made a kick. It was absurd. Absolutely absurd. That's the only thing you can kind of say about it. And I figure, what better way to kind of cap off an epic regular season finale? Just go through a mock draft where I'm at. This is not maybe so much a mock draft where it's like we make the pick, defend the pick, justify the pick. It's going to be more so a mock draft where I'm just going to kind of go where I'm thinking for all these teams. And if you don't like it, feel free to let me know in the comment section and say who you disagree. What other player would you go for? So here we go, man. We're starting at pick number 1. Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm already going to go a little bit off. I've seen a mock there, but it's not a popular pick right now. I'm going to have the Jacksonville Jaguars at pick 1. Coaching carousel needs to be considered for a lot of these picks. New coaches. Who's going to Jacksonville? Seems like they're going offense. Byron Leftwich, Doug Peterson, Bill O'Brien. You have to solve and make Trevor Lawrence good. How do you do that? It's not probably an edge rusher. It's probably a franchise tackle. And if Kyle Pitts last year was a unicorn, Evan Neal's an alien. The number 1 athlete on Bruce Feldman's freak list. So if you make this freak list, it's 100 players, it's on The Athletic. Almost like I've kind of been paying attention to it. Like if you make that top 100 at the combine, you're going to be at minimum like top 5 in your position for like athletic testing. He's number 1 in college, the biggest freak in college. 6'7", 350 pounds, and he's probably going to be like top 2 or 3, if not first, in a lot of the major athletic testing spots for linemen at the combine. He is Mekhi Becton. You know Mekhi Becton, the big ticket franchise tackle that the Jets have, who's also 6'7", 350 pounds, freak of nature, who was considered a top 10 tackle going into his sophomore season this year before he got hurt. Well, I think that you have to protect Trevor Lawrence. And that is still a winning formula to building a franchise and rebuilding a franchise. You get your franchise quarterback. The next logical thing is like, all right, do we have a franchise pass rusher? Yeah, Josh Allen can be that guy. Do we have franchise corner, lockdown corner? Well, he spent a lot of money bringing in Griffin and those guys in free agency. He spent a lot of free agency bucks there. Do we have a franchise tackle? Absolutely not. Franchise tackles go first overall. Evan Neal to the Jags. Let's go. Pick 2, we have the Detroit Lions. It's just an easy one. Aiden Hutchinson, another freak of nature, number 2 on the freaks list, Michigan guy. Dan Campbell guy. Detroit Lions get a franchise pass rusher. Pick 3, Houston Texans. Another kind of easy pick for me to make here. Kayvon Thibodeau. Texans have a pretty good hit rate getting pass rushers. This is such an unknown pick. Don't know if Culley's going to be there. Seems like he might be on the hot seat on the way out. Don't know what kind of draft ammo they're going to get from Deshaun Watson if they do so. But what we do know is that when the Texans draft a pass rusher, tend to be pretty good in the first round. Mary Williams, Jadeveon Clowney, J.J. Watt, Kayvon Thibodeau. Add him to the list, man. I love John Grenard. Pumped that he's doing well. He's awesome for Florida. Thought he's one of the steals of the draft. I think I graded him the highest value from the Texans draft that year. I don't know what he had, 7 sacks, 8 sacks, something like that. He was on a hot streak there. Still need another pass rusher. Put on the other side of them. And regardless of what the scheme is, 3-4-4-3, Thibodeau is scheme flexible, and he's pretty much set and forget. Pick 4, the New York Jets are on the clock. And I think if I'm the Jets here, I consider some options. I would probably still go Stingley. Much aligned, like you look at Stingley, people are low on him right now. Didn't have the best year at LSU, but LSU was just garbage. Last time LSU had like a legitimate team, Stingley was a true freshman, and he was probably the best corner in college. He's 6'2", 200, what? What's he going to be, like 210? 205, 210? He's going to run 4'3", 40-some inch vert. Everyone's going to go, holy shit. All right, can't miss corner. And that's exactly what the Jets need on the back end of that defense. You get a nice little diamond in the rough in Bryce Hall, but you need that guy. You need that Revis Island type corner, and you can get that in Derek Stingley. Pick 5, we have the Giants. And look at the top guys. Really, I think they could be in play for any of the 3. I think I like Kyle Hamilton the most out of these 3 players, but I think Kyle Hamilton also offers the least value to the Giants here at pick 5. Karlaftis, I think the Giants secondary, especially you got 5 picks from McKinney. He's emerging as a potential breakout stud at safety. And the rest of the secondary, Bradbury, those guys, Dory Jack spent money there. Secondary is not really a big concern for the Giants. Pass rush is. Offensive line is. And I think for me, given this pick, I'm going to go Karlaftis. I think Karlaftis is kind of in the same bubble as Derek Stingley, where production wasn't great. I mean, he was double, triple team all the time at Purdue. But for the Freaks list, I mean, he's number 9 on the Freaks list. He's going to absolutely dominate the combine. I think once he's out of the bubble of production in Purdue, Big Ten, all that stuff, and you're just looking at him compared to the other edge rushers, you're going to see, holy shit, this guy's a ridiculous athlete, and this is the kind of guy that, like, people compare him to J.J. Watt a lot. I mean, in a certain degree, yeah, J.J. Watt wasn't like the J.J. Watt we know and love in college. J.J. Watt at Wisconsin was, like, good, but he wasn't, like, 20 sacks a year good. So I feel like, we should be evolving to a point that we don't justify production. Obviously, bad production, no production is always a big red flag. But I don't think if you don't have S-tier college production, doesn't mean that's going to, like, within you being a top 10 pick. Once you get out there, once you show your technique, once you show that, you're like, oh, I'm, like, top 3 athlete at the edge rushing position in the draft, you're going to pull the trigger. And, I mean, for the Giants here, we know they're sticking with Joe Judge. We know they're sticking with Daniel Jones for another year. I think pass rusher, I would go pass rusher over DB. And then at 7, you go, whatever's left here. But I have a trade. Ding, ding, ring the bell. Pick 6. Looking at the trade value chart here, just so I'm not ripping myself off. Carolina, pick 6. That pick is worth 1,600 points. My beloved Philadelphia Eagles sitting with 3 first-rounders. And we know Carolina likes to trade. They like to trade. Philly likes to trade. Pick 16 is worth 1,000. Pick 15 is worth, 1,050. I'm not giving up 2,000 worth of picks to move up to 6. But pick 16 is worth 1,000. Pick 19 is worth 1,875. So 1,875 value to the Panthers, offering them that for a pick that's worth 1,600. There's a reason why we want to do this as an Eagle fan. There's a reason why I hope they do this as an Eagle fan. We're going to give them 15. We'll give them I'll give them straight up my top pick and pick 19. Because if you are the Philadelphia Eagles, there is one player that we absolutely need to leave this draft with. When we have 3 first-round picks and we know we're not just staying put, we know Howie Roseman's going to move up. This is the guy you move up for. Kyle Hamilton, number 2 on the Freaks list. Number 3, sorry. Number 1 was Evan Neal. Number 2 was Aiden Hudson. S-tier athletes. Number 3, another S-tier athlete, another blue-chip player, Kyle Hamilton. Not any other team in the NFL. Pick it in the first round with a chance to get to the top 10, needs a safety more than the Philadelphia Eagles. So I would be any of them. I'd say, hey, New York, you want to trade down? Hey, Atlanta, you want to trade down? Hey, Denver. I would be every single one of these teams. I'll give them 2 first-round picks to get Kyle Hamilton. I don't know how it's going to have to happen. When you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, Rodney McLeod, veteran, how much more treads left on the tire there? Anthony Harris, 1-year deal. We don't really have much at all beyond that. There's no real prospect. Kevon Wallace can't really get on the field. And you look at Kyle Hamilton, the big need right now for Philadelphia is we need safeties. Fans are screaming for a linebacker. We already know how he's not going to draft a linebacker in the first round, but you can package Kyle Hamilton to play some linebacker. He can do it all. He's a guy that absolutely comes in and eliminates tight ends. He's a guy that can lay the boom, set the tone. He's a guy that can drop back into coverage. He's a fluid athlete. Make it happen. Kyle Hamilton needs to be a member of the Philadelphia Eagles come the end of April. There's no other way around, especially with the ammunition Philadelphia has. Pick 7, the Giants. Super easy selection. Linderbaum, they get Jason Kelsey's regen. That's literally what he is. And they get, I think, the second best offensive lineman in this draft after Evan Neal. Easy selection. You're trying to run the ball. If you're sticking with Daniel Jones, you're still saying, hey, we want to run the ball. We want to be a tough team. There you go. You get Linderbaum there on the offense. So I actually think, honestly, if I'm them, I would not hate the idea of going Ekwonu at 5 and Linderbaum, so double up on the offensive line, just fully embrace it. Number 8, we have the Atlanta Falcons. For the Atlanta Falcons, this pick here is kind of on the assumption that doesn't seem like Calvin Ridley's coming back. So I'm going to replace one Alabama wide receiver with another, and they're going to get the deep threat, Jameson Williams from Alabama, the best deep threat in college football this year. It seems like they're sticking with Matt Ryan for another season. You got Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts can be your chain mover. He can be your intermediate guy, your go-to guy there. A little bit of Russell Gage there as well. Who's the guy that's going to stretch your field? And it does look like they're going to try to find some sort of trade with Calvin Ridley. Jameson Williams out of the top prospects, is the most like Calvin Ridley, and he's a hell of a prospect as well. Number 9, we have the Denver Broncos. Here is last time we did a Broncos mock, I had them getting Ekwonu. I did not have them drafting one of these QBs, and people were not super stoked about that selection for some reason. I guess I made also the assumption they'd trade for Aaron Rodgers. Seems like that door is closed. Seems like Aaron's pretty happy in Green Bay right now. Maybe Russell Wilson. Why would Russell Wilson want to go play in Denver? No respect. I think honestly, as a Canadian, I'd love to live in Denver. But for an NFL player, you can kind of control why are you going to Denver? So I'm going to actually have them get Kenny Two Gloves. And my reasoning is very simple. I can't really 100%. Before I was like, man, maybe 50-50 they can get Aaron Rodgers away from Green Bay. As it stands right now, I don't really see the veteran that the Broncos could trade for. So at this spot, it would be an absolute disservice to the fan base to go into next year with the exact same offense. Even though a new coach, you know what Drew Lock is. You know what Teddy Bridgewater is. Give yourself a chance. Get the fans excited. Kenny Two Gloves, he could be good. I don't have a first-round grade, really, a strong first-round grade, let alone a top 10 grade on any of the QBs. But if you told me, twist my arm, C4, you have to draft a quarterback in the first round, Pickett and Corral are the two guys I would consider. So, you always reach for quarterbacks, and I think Kenny Pickett at least gives a little bit of excitement, a little bit of optimism for the Denver Bronco fan base. And I obviously still think Kenny Pickett has a higher ceiling than either Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. So it kind of just is what it is, man. Hopefully you can develop him, and if you can make it work, Kenny Two Gloves because he has small hands, you could have a guy there. You got enough weapons? You got enough weapons for Kenny Pickett to succeed. You have a great offensive line for the most part. Great. Okay, we'll say you have a solid offensive line. Tremendous run game. Exciting wide receiver prospects. Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant. That's a great environment for a young quarterback. Someone like Kenny Pickett, too, a little bit on the older side, so he's more mature. And I think in terms of pro-ready, in terms of like which one of these quarterbacks can get thrown in and expect to succeed in the right environment in year one as a rookie, it still comes down to Pickett Corral. Take your shot, and I could see Denver just fall in love with Pickett a little bit more. Pick 10, we have the New York Jets back on the clock. I think I'll have the Jets. Kind of an easy selection. I'm getting Ekwonu. Ike Ekwonu. Big, tough-ass run mauler. Instant plug-and-play on the offensive line. That's where they want to get better at. It's where they show the importance. Joe Douglas is, from his time in Philadelphia, he's definitely carried some of the values, drafting values, team-building values from Howie Roseman. We've seen massive investments in the O-line on the left-hand side. Kai Becton was a first-round pick. AVT was a first-round pick. Keep on keeping on. If you look at Zach Wilson in college at BYU, he had an S-tier offensive line. That is how you continue to build success there. And Ekwonu, plug-and-play right tackle, got to be happy with that, man. It's an ugly pick. It's not a flashy pick, but it's the kind of pick that the Jets need to continue to make to build their roster up to be super competitive in the AFC East. Number 11, we have the football team. By this time, they're going to have a brand new name, brand new branding. And it just doesn't feel right. Having all this new marketing, turning a leaf. They're probably going to try to act like that. A lot of bad PR and all that stuff, rightfully so for football team. Like, we're going to be the Admirals. We're going to be the Groundhogs. Whatever fucking stupid name they're coming up with. And then imagine all these promotions stuff. You have Heineke. You do. You're going to have to get a quarterback. You got to get a flashy, young, splash quarterback. And I actually think if I'm at 11, you told me right now, at 11, you're going to have Heineke and Garrett Wilson, or Heineke and Ahmad Gardner, or Jabba, or any of these guys. Or I could have Matt Corral as a new franchise quarterback, try to build and develop. I'm taking Corral every day of the week. I think Corral is absolutely a better prospect than Heineke. Whatever you think, whatever ceiling, if you're a fan of Heineke, Corral brings you a lot more upside. And you're rebranding this team. You want to try to usher in a new era. You don't usher in a new era with still big question marks at that quarterback spot. You usher in a new era with a new era at that quarterback spot. So I absolutely think Matt Corral would not be a bad pick at all for a football team. Pick 12 with the Minnesota Vikings. This one's pretty quick. Even though they have a brand new coach, Zimmer could change things schematically. Need a lot of help at corner. And why don't we just draft the corner in Sauce Gardner, who just 0 touchdowns allowed in his college career. I think that's annoying pick because I would love a situation where Philadelphia can get Kyle Hamilton and Sauce Gardner. But if I'm the Vikings, too good of a pass up. He's an absolute upgrade over the last couple corners they've drafted. Jeff Gladney. Ugh. Some of those other guys, not the best. Sauce Gardner is a legit first-round top 15 corner player. 13, we have the Cleveland Browns. My last mock draft for the Browns, I had them get Garrett Wilson at wide receiver. And this mock draft, I'm going to have them get Garrett Wilson, wide receiver. I think it was very painful, even though there's still some upside there, but it was very painful for Baker. It looks like Baker Mayfield's going to come back, right? Maybe, kind of, sort of. Baker Mayfield isn't coming back. Swap this out with... Yikes. That's what's left at quarterback. Swap this out with, I don't know what they're doing at QB, but he does come back. When you saw Baker Mayfield out there, when like Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think there's still something there for sure. He's absolute dime of a lady, by the way, Valerie Laredo, the MMA fighter. But you just saw drops. You just saw like, man, they need another guy. They need someone that like they got rid of Odell, but they didn't want to get rid of Odell. They kind of needed Odell to be that playmaker for them. So why not get a guy that's very much in the conversation for the best wide receiver in the draft? Get Baker Mayfield another weapon if you're giving Baker Mayfield another season. Pick 14, we have the Baltimore Ravens. And for the Ravens here, again, kind of an easy selection. Get yourself a tackle. Charles Cross, plug and play, right tackle. You're going to have a healthy Ronnie Stanley back next season. And everything for the Baltimore Ravens revolves around the offensive line. Defensively, they were terrible this year. But that was injury. That was on the injury side of things. I think when you have a fully healthy roster and you kind of look at like where they should strengthen in this draft, I don't think they're going to be hard-pressed to find tackle not being near, if not the very top of that list. And Cross is very much a legitimate tackle prospect. First-team SEC, outstanding athlete. I think he's only 20, 21. He's going to be one of the younger prospects in this draft. Easy selection, I think, for the Baltimore Ravens. 15. This is the pick that the Panthers traded down for. And I think if you're still the Panthers, you're like, okay, well, have our pick of all the QBs if we still want one. Could go linebacker, great linebackers available. Could go offensive line. And I think, honestly, looking at where they are selecting at this spot, I would probably say, let's get linemen. Their line is very bad. Their line is why you probably still have some questions about can Sam Darnold be good, because their line just absolutely didn't help them out. So I'm going to go Kenyon Green on the offensive line. He's a guy, another first-team All-SEC versatility. In my opinion, reminds me of Elton Jenkins from the Green Bay Packers. Can play like pretty much everyone on the offensive line at a very high level. And I think that is just the best available player. And then at 19, you can reevaluate with what quarterbacks are still left on the market. For Philadelphia at pick 6, this has been a popular pick for me for Philly. And I actually will say, Leal could be interesting, especially if the Eagles are starting to consider maybe moving on from Fletcher Cox. But I'm going to have them get David Ojabo. Give me an athletic monster that can come off the edge. There's going to be no more Derek Barnett. So if no more Derek Barnett, you have Brandon Graham, who, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't want to be sad and down in the dumps, but I'm more inclined, if I was a betting man, to say that Brandon Graham would retire than go back to like playing at a pretty high level. So at that spot, you need to find another pass rusher who can play on the other side of Josh Sweat. And why not get someone that's very much like Josh Sweat, just a very raw but insane athlete that you could try to develop. I think I'd gamble on that again. Seems to be working out well for Josh Sweat, and that's why we're going to take a swing here at Ojabo. 17, we have the Chargers. And for the Chargers, I don't love this pick, but it's a pick I made last time, and it's still the pick I think I would just stick with, and that's Jordan Davis. I think Jordan Davis is... The concerns about him, lack of reps, stamina, all that stuff. He doesn't play a whole lot at Georgia. He comes off the field a lot, is valid. But when you look at what Vita Vea can do in rec games as a nose tackle, and he just got paid $1 billion from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then when you saw how that game ended for the Chargers, Week 18, this could be recency bias pick, even though I had him to go on this guy in my last mock draft, but they couldn't stop the run to save their life. Jordan Davis single-handedly could stop the run in the NFL. That's kind of all he can do. I don't know, maybe you could slim him down 20 pounds and see a little bit more of a pass rusher, get some upside there. But I just think, run stuffer, guy that could take over in the middle of the defense, Linval Joseph upgrade, successor, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if Jordan Davis is a top 17 player for me, but the value that he would bring to the weakness that the Chargers currently have, I think you'd have to highly consider that selection at this spot. Pick 18, we have the New Orleans Saints. Looking at the guys that are available here, Andrew Booth would be interesting. Look at the secondary. Roger McCreary, first round. I just think, again, you got a player in Paulson Adebo there. Lattimore. You look at the QBs that are here. I think Malik Willis would be... Okay, what do we know about the Saints? Saints take absolute swings. They gamble in their first round. We've seen it countless times. I still can't believe they traded 2 first-round picks to get an insane athlete that was incredibly raw in Marcus Davenport. This time, at pick 18, while they need a massive question mark at the quarterback spot, they have to solve that. Why not get an insane athlete that you need to develop in Malik Willis? I think Sean Payton, this could be like his last piece of work in the NFL, man. He's getting out there in age a little bit, and if he can be the guy that takes someone like Malik Willis with those incredibly raw tools, where he's the most athletic quarterback, one of the best athletes in this class, probably has the best arm in this class, but everything else needs to be so refined. I think you could absolutely see a situation where Sean Payton's like, that's going to be my final piece of work in the NFL. When I'm gone, they're gonna, everyone's going to know Drew Brees, and they're going to know all that stuff, the Super Bowl, but I want my lasting final impression of the NFL is, I got this kid at a Liberty, and I made him into like the next Lamar Jackson or something like that. I could see that totally happening. And the more I just kind of talk about that, I kind of want to see that happen. And now we're sitting here at 19. I think you go again. If you're Carolina, you're like, dude, Darnold's the shits. Darnold's probably not it. Even though we improved the offensive line, we improved this offensive line to help out our next franchise quarterback, we hope, in Sam Howell. And you're also at this spot where you're like, if you don't get Sam Howell here and you kind of like him, you got to be a little bit worried that the Steelers at 20. Steelers sitting here at 20, they're probably like, shit, we need a quarterback. And they're probably regretting they didn't trade up at another point because now that the run on QBs just went there. But I think if you're Carolina, you have, obviously, hopefully, a Christian McCaffrey coming back healthy. Get your wide receivers in place. DJ Moore's a stud. Robbie Anderson can make plays if they keep him around. You fix the O-line a little bit with Kenyon Green. You can play him guard, center, whatever you want. Probably guard, right? You have Moten at right tackle, Paradis at center. Could go defense, but I just think you get yourself Howell, get yourself a chance at developing into a franchise quarterback. I think between Howell, Willis, Matt Corral, Kenny Pickett, I think Howell's probably the last guy, that could be considered in that range of like, shit, he could be developed into a franchise quarterback. Until pick 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers go, oh, we're getting Carson Strong, the last legitimate, maybe there's a franchise quarterback in this class type prospect. Carson Strong would probably be considered more highly, didn't have the injury concerns, but I think if you're Pittsburgh, you kind of have to do this. Like what veteran, again, we're still in this mindset of like, well, some of these teams, some of these quarterbacks are going to be moving around in the NFL this year, right? But like, do you really see Aaron Rodgers going to Pittsburgh? Do you really see Russell Wilson going to Pittsburgh? And if you're not really in play for those two guys, unless I'm having a complete brain fart of this third quarterback, Baker Mayfield, you know what I'm saying? Gardner Minshew, you're probably going to have to try to take your best swing at a quarterback. At least he didn't trade up. He didn't give up any other assets. And I still think, you look at Carson Strong, if you eliminate the injury concerns, he's absolutely could be going ahead of Malik Willis or Sam Howell in this year's draft class. From an arm talent standpoint, got a cannon, very accurate, but it's just, the injuries. He's had some bad stuff below the belt a little bit. But I think if you're Pittsburgh, probably worth it to be like, we'll go with Carson Strong here, so we're not going to next year with Mason Rudolph, fucking Dwayne Haskins. You know what I'm saying? And then, still, what are you going to go in the second round, get Desmond Ridder? Give me Carson Strong over Desmond Ridder. You're going to wait and get Zappy? Give me Carson Strong over Zappy. Get your quarterback here, because at least Carson Strong, you have the what if. You have the question mark. What if Carson Strong comes out as the best quarterback of this class? We have that chance. We have that opportunity. You know what's not good is not drafting a quarterback here and going into next year with, like, I don't know, who else would they get? DeMarvin Leal on the D-line to take over like Tyson Alualu, and then you still don't have a quarterback. It doesn't really make the difference. It doesn't make a needle, move the needle for your franchise. Carson Strong could potentially do that. 21. We have the New England Patriots here. And for the Patriots, last mock draft, I had them going wide receiver. I had the Patriots selecting... Actually, I didn't. My 2 mock drafts ago, I had them going wide receiver. Last mock draft for the Patriots, I had them getting Roger McCreary, the corner from Auburn. But I'm going to have them get a wide receiver. And I'm going to have them select from Arkansas, Treylon Burks. Just, you see the success of Deebo Samuel. That's a lot of comps get put. Treylon Burks is just a bigger, slightly slower Deebo Samuel. That is the kind of player that Josh McDaniels is going to go, yes, sir. That is the piece that we want in our offense to help out Mac Jones, to help this thing keep on. And I think that is, I'm not going to say what they hope they were getting in N'Keal Harry, but like size-wise, build-wise, very similar. N'Keal Harry and Treylon Burks. Burks is just a lot better and a lot more versatile in pretty much every other way. 22, we have the Dolphins, who are very shockingly looking for a new head coach. Did not see them firing Brian Flores, but they did. Last mock draft for the Dolphins had them getting Kenyon Green on the offensive line. Look at the guys that are available here. I think it's actually not the best draft board here for the Dolphins. Questions would become like O-line, right? You could go offensive line for sure. You could look at, these are the guys that are available. I'm probably going to Kobe Dean at linebacker. I'm probably going to try to just get the guy that might be the next Roquan Smith kind of guy. Like that's kind of like when I look at a Kobe Dean, kind of, obviously the same jersey when they both played at college. But get another guy that can come in and play with Jerome Baker in the middle of that defense. Especially if they could be changing scheme. Who knows, right? Like if they go to a 4-3, things could change up. They might need different types of linebackers. And I just, for this, honestly, just went BPA. BPA for the Dolphins at 22. Wasn't a lineman that I think I would take over to Kobe Dean. Got to tackle Penning, maybe. Yeah, I like it, to Kobe Dean. Especially because there's a lot of question marks on what's going to happen there. 23 with the Raiders. And we're going to have them just immediately get a wide receiver here. I think Drake London, I might even take Drake London over Olave. But given the injuries, I don't know if London's going to be able to work out in the offseason or anything like that. We'll just go with the slightly safer pick. But either way, if the Raiders are sitting here between Olave and London, great decision to have to make. I think both these players are going to be solid at the next level. And they both would solve a wide receiving issue that the Raiders unfortunately have now because of the nonsense and ridiculousness and the super sad story that happened to that girl. Because of the dumb Henry Ruggs. 24, we have the Arizona Cardinals on the clock. Last mock draft, the Cardinals had them going defensive line. I'm going to have to go D-line again here and get DeMarvin Leal, pass rusher from Texas A&M. He'd be a 3-4 defensive end in their scheme. Can learn a thing or two from J.J. Watt and eventually be the successor for J.J. Watt. Leal was, he was a little bit underrated, I think, right now in the draft community. 12 TFLs, 8.5 sacks. I think he has huge upside. He's already a really good run defender. And I think that bodes well there for the Cardinals, who also could potentially be in a head coaching hunt. I think if Cliff crashes and burns in this playoff run, they could be looking for a brand new QB. 25, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. For the Bengals, what do we got here? What do we got on the offensive line? Penning? Sure, why not? Trevor Penning, legitimate first rounder, getting a lot of Senior Bowl buzz. And that's one thing I know about linemen that I've never heard of, for the most part, entering into the season. If you're getting a lot of love at the Senior Bowl, you're getting a lot of love from those guys. You're gonna go in the first round. You're getting hyped up. Penning, 6'8", 6'9", plug and play on the offensive line, help protect. You didn't get Sewell last year. You get Jamar Chase. I think most Bengal fans very satisfied with kind of how that worked out. But now you have another opportunity much later to get a very legitimate high ceiling tackle prospect to protect Joe Burrow long term. 26, we have the Buffalo Bills. For the Bills, my last mock draft, I had them getting a very interesting wide receiver. Let me look at the board here. You know what? I have them getting Jahan Dotson. I think if this is the board, I'm going to Andrew Booth. He had the injury to Tre'Davious White, which is very unfortunate, but I think long-term, getting another big-time outside corner that can help and play with Trey White would be nice, and Booth can do that. Long, rangy. I think he's underrated run defender. Good man coverage. Athletically, he's going to be one of those guys that's interesting. I'm going to be interested to see what he can run at the combine. I don't know if I'm seeing 4.3. I don't know if I'm seeing low 4.4, but doesn't really need to. Does everything else well. Technique is really where it needs to be for a guy that you want to play sooner than later. You have Teron Johnson there, could go in the slot, and Booth and Trey White on the outside. I think that's a secondary that most Buffalo Bill fans could get down with, especially because I had them go wide receiver last time, but I mean, Gabe Davis is stepping up. I think you have a legit wide receiver too there in Gabe Davis to pair with obviously Stephon Diggs. And at 26, if you're really considering a wide receiver 3 versus a guy that could develop as a corner 2, I'd probably be going corner 2 in that situation. Detroit is back on the clock at 27. This is actually why I had the draft last time. And they're going to get Devin Lloyd. Again, BPA at this point. You got your pass rusher. Let's continue to build the defense. Could go Drake London. Could definitely go Drake London. But I'm thinking if the injuries and rehab and all that stuff's going a little bit slow for London, you might have a great opportunity to get Drake London with the top 2 pick in the second round, and then you get your big time. Even then, I think there's going to be a good shot. And we'll see how the rest of this mock goes. But if you are the Lions and you're like, they do need wide receiver help. Amon-Ra St. Brown kind of broke out a little bit late season. Still need more. Between Dotson and London, probably going to have a very good opportunity to get one of those 2 guys in the second round and get your linebacker here in Devin Lloyd. 28, we have the Dallas Cowboys. I think, again, they got to go safety. In my opinion, the best safety in the class right now after Hamilton is Dax Hill from Michigan. Do a lot of things. Can play slot, can play, deep safety, single high, can do pretty much everything. He's a ball hawk, great athlete, should test well at the combine and be a good fit there. I think you can pair him next to really Curse, who had a little bit of a breakout, and continue to dominate there, that Dan Quinn defense, which I am very not happy to see as a Philadelphia Eagle fan. 29, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs here, I think they should go pass rusher, but their defense has kind of got, Actually, you know what? Could just be like a F-it type pick. Drake London. I'm going to throw it because the Chiefs, for some reason, are like, they desperately need like all pros. Like they're always aggressive in trying to get wide receivers. You saw like Josh Gordon. If you're signing Josh Gordon off the street, you are stressing that you don't have enough of a wide receiver. And then you have McCole Hardman, who's incredibly hot and cold, inconsistent. Kelsey and Tyreek are what they are. Someone like Drake London, who insane numbers, insane at USC this year. He played in what? I think seven games, 8 games, 88 catches, 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. Number 60 on the freaks list, so he's a great athlete, one of the best jump ball players. Don't really have a jump ball guy, I guess, for that Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver room. So we'll have to get Drake London there. Very fun, exciting weapon for Patrick Mahomes. 30, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm going to have to get Travon Walker. I think that, Walker is a very, very dominant athlete from the Georgia Bulldogs. You want to call him historic at this point. But Walker is an S-tier athlete, very high ceiling, 3-4 defensive end. Come in, learn behind Dominic Sue, learn behind some of the veterans if they are still rolling over in the next season, and continue to get younger on that front three. But it's because you re-signed Vita Vea for long-term. Let's get more long-term guys around them. 31, we have the Tennessee Titans. For the Titans here, this one's another kind of interesting one. I think given the board, if he does declare, why not? Kyer Elam at corner. They're secondary. Get rid of Adoree Jackson, trying to reshuffle back there just a little bit. Someone like Elam, just a nice young corner prospect, especially long-term with Caleb Farley. Sure, why not, right? At this point, the offense kept on with no Derrick Henry. I think you could value tackle, but there's not really any tackles right here that scream like that's where I got to go. Then you kind of look on the rest of the offense. Wide receiver, maybe someone like Jahan Dotson could be interesting. But I think at this point, I would go corner. I think Kyer Elam, 31, is pretty good value. He's a guy that a lot of people have their mock drafts going as a lock, like top 15, top 20 for sure. Look at Elam, had 1 interception, 5 pass breakups. Now again, I said there might be a chance he returns to college so he can, solidify his top 10-ish draft stock again. But a very good athlete, 6'2", 200 pounds, great speed, and a great man cover corner. And we finish out this mock draft, pick 32. Man, I wanted this to be 15 minutes. It's 32 freaking minutes. Unreal. We finished with this mock draft, pick 32 with the Green Bay Packers. This one went from I know what the Packers are doing to, man, are they going to keep Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams again? Because if they keep Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, I think Jahan Dotson can be their pick, and I absolutely just railroad what I said about the Detroit Lions earlier. But, you look at this. If you are the Green Bay Packers, you're not like Jahan Dotson, sure, he's the best guy right now. You know what? Actually, I'm going to go Drake Jackson. Someone told me that they're most likely going to be getting rid of their 2 veteran pass rushers. Like it won't be shocking to see the Green Bay Packers depth chart, Rashawn Gary be the only guy. Like no more Smith, no more the Prestons are going to be gone. And they're going to be gone. Drake Jackson, the edge rusher from USC. That makes some sense, man. 37 tackles, 8 TFLs, 5 sacks, high-level pass rusher with a very high ceiling. Just another guy that they can gamble with. And this pick is all being made under the assumption that Green Bay Packers are already very, very happy because Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are still in the building. So there you go, guys. There is a nice little fun. Had a little bit of a time on my hands to make a little mock draft here for the end of the regular season. Making a little trade there for my Philadelphia Eagles. Again, I would love to actually hear for future trades. Is there any other teams that you think would have traded up? Given them, again, I think the Steelers are the only one. Outside of that, though, I would definitely love to hear for future mock drafts with trades. Any other teams you think, especially if it's your own favorite team, that you think will be very open to being aggressive to trading up or trading down in this year's mock draft cycle and eventually in this year's draft. But that'll do it for me today, guys. Hope you enjoyed, had a little bit of fun. We'll be back tomorrow with either new Pinks or new Eagles. I don't know yet. But thank you very much for watching. As always, first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace